So we are streaming. I don't show anybody watching yet. Again, people may end up just watching after the fact. Okay, we're now unlisted. Good.
Instead of murder in the reward, it's assault in the rose morgue.
No, don't send me to YouTube. I know how to do that already.
You're not posting to RPG Research, are you?
It's youtube.com/RPG Research is our channel, but the stream that is live right now, the URL is not necessarily public. It is viewed. Where's the URL I need? It's the server URL, stream options. It usually gives me. Okay. Come on.
RPG.
Your wife get on and see if she'll do it.
Usually there's a URL right here for me to share. Only one watching right now, I believe, is me. Okay. See what happens if you go to. Wow, they listed under gaming. That's not really where it's supposed to be, but I guess it could be for RPG Research. So go to gaming.youtube.com/user/RPG Research/live. Is that showing up?
You went to it, right?
Nope.
Oh shit. Okay. RPG or gaming.
Gaming.youtube.com/user/RPG Research/live.
I only have my Patreon account, which means I don't have my wife's here, so I can't clock in.
Well, I just got a notification that you're live.
Huh. Okay. It's not as private as I want, but we'll see. Oh my goodness, I posted it for tomorrow. No, I want it today. Right now. Let's say 9:10 p.m. schedule. 5 minutes in the future. Oh my goodness. Okay, 9:15 schedule. So this is the first time trying to use Patreon's little thing with YouTube. I've done it with YouTube many times, so we're trying to link it with Patreon. So we will see what happens. I just posted the link to our patrons only, and we will see what happens. Okay, I got the live chat here.
Oh, my phone's upstairs, so I can't even ask my wife to clock in. You want me to go upstairs and see if I can get my wife to clock in?
Sure, if you want to.
I see us.
Okay.
Oh, not necessarily.
Alright. Why is the chat not letting me post anything?
They're gonna be able to hear hearing us.
Alright, there's the chat. So this is the first time trying to use Patreons. Okay. And I'm going to turn that audio down slightly because I think it's getting a little distorted. And can I stop? Okay, I did. So all I want to see is the chat if somebody posts. So this corner right here, if you see somebody post something, let me know. We need an AV crew.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we've got a lot of the pictures, or a lot of the stuff, but we're really not capturing everything, but that's okay. We got a taste of how much stuff this gaming room has. What multiple gaming rooms. Alrighty then.
So what square am I looking at to see if they're...
The right hand, oh, I covered it, sorry. I covered it with the OBS software,
Oh,
the online broadcast server software. This right here,
Okay.
that box there, somebody posts something.
so somebody talk to us.
Yeah, nobody's watching yet.
Nobody.
I did send an email or a post on Patreon to everybody, Facebook and everywhere, saying we would be broadcasting around 9 o'clock, and that for Patreon supporters they get a link. I don't expect people will join in because some people are on the East Coast, so for them it's 1 in the morning.
Right.
And they'll be able to see the recorded version. We'll give them a link to the recorded version. But we're giving it best effort, and as we get more funds, right now we're about 111, 113 a month. You know, we can then start improving this whole process. So who's got pulled up the notes we want to cover here? You guys all do?
We all do.
Okay, except me, because my computer's over there. So
Little-
eventually I'll have a dedicated system just for that. But right now it's my main system for everything.
And then that little techie standing over there going,
Yeah.
I hit the play, honest.
So hello and welcome.
Hey,
Let's see, is it
Ellen,
9:15 yet? Because I had to set it to 9:15 for the
It's
Patreon.
9:11.
9:11. We got 4 minutes. So, you see, this is our leftover from our game yesterday.
Yes.
Last
Yeah.
night.
Wow. Wow.
It feels like a week.
You were a bit under the weather.
There's just so much going on. Oh my goodness. Busy. Yeah, that's going to fall backwards. Yeah, I'll do it that way. At some point, we'll have to actually have you guys learn how to use the Tales of
Hobbit Tales.
Hobbit Tales. This is a fun icebreaker.
It's a board game. It's my right up my
Nope,
alley.
it's actually a card story game.
Ooh, even better.
So you lay this out, and you take cards, and there's people and events and such, and you put them on here, and then you fill in, based on that event, the story. You start just improv storytelling, and you each take turns and tell a
It's
story.
like Microscope.
So it's a nice little icebreaker while you're waiting for people to show up for a game and such. So that's something I'll have to show you guys. We've done that a few times with our tour group and such, because it's directly linked to tour. This actually can tie in. You can use this to prep people while they're waiting in for the adventure their characters are about to do. There's a lot of ways to tie it in. It's kind of fun.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right, what time is it?
9:13.
13.
9:13. Okay. So today, Drake and I, for Father-Son time, he wanted to do Twilight 2000, so we put him a character. And the first adventure is you're surrounded by Polish and Soviet tanks, and the last thing you hear from the division commander is, make a break for it, good luck, you're on your own. You have to burst your way out of a completely surrounded, overwhelming
nice knowing
force. And we've had groups get blown up just trying to get that first part. And then after that, it's an attrition survival game. And it's funny because the character sheets are actually quite simple. It's one page, one-sided, and yet a fairly complex system. You have hit location, arms, legs, head, chest, abdomen. Each area has separate hit points and takes separate damage and all of that, and complex weapon. It's really interesting that the rule books are like 30 pages each for the referees and then for the players. That's it. That's the core rule. Then everything else is equipment and stuff, like just books and books of equipment and modules. But as far as rules, you've got like 64 pages, and it's all you need to play it. It's really straight and to the point. People now call it a crunchy system, and they defile it and don't really like it. And I'm like, and yet it was my consistently number 3 most popular game between D&D of various versions, MERP and various versions on that, and Twilight 2000. Twilight 2000, people just love the setting, the system, just a lot
The
about
fact that
it.
everybody dies.
It's brutal. It is a lot of attrition, but that's part of the fun. There's no magic. There's no cyber whatever. It's based on, in a lot of ways, actually photos from the original Red Dawn.
Okay.
It's kind of that mentality
Excellent.
because we came out in 1984. So, all right.
Wasn't the
9:15.
game system itself based on a Vietnam game?
No, I don't know. I think it was its own thing. It's from GDW before they went out of business. So I don't know.
I think GDW had a Vietnam game.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Hello and welcome to the RPG Research monthly Patreon broadcast. This is specifically for our Patreon supporters. Those of you at the higher donor levels get immediate live access to this if you're available to do it. If not, you can catch the recorded version. And then we don't share the URL with the general public or lower levels. So in a few days we'll share the link with lower levels, and then after that we share it with the general public after you guys have had a chance to view it yourself. What we're hoping will happen eventually as we get into this routine consistently is you will join us during these live broadcasts and either post questions ahead of time, which is great because we prepare better, or real time post right there in our little chat thing in the YouTube comments by our stream questions you have about what we're doing. We're going to talk about every month. There's a lot going on if you've seen any of our previous videos, followed our blog, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere. We have stuff going on almost every day, and this is a way for us to just kind of verbally keep up with you and interact with you more directly, real time. So today is September 26th, 2017. It's 17 p.m. now?
16
p.m. And so last time, was about a month ago. It was the end of August. We gave you an update of a lot that happened over the summer. We did so much during July with the MDA and Tolkien Mood and on and on. And then in August with SpoCon and Spark Central and et cetera, et cetera. So this kind of is filling in the gap of what happened this past month. What's one of the first things we want to discuss there?
We got the RPG bus.
Oh, yeah. So this is Danielle.
Hi,
I'm
everybody
Hawk.
should introduce yourself.
Yeah.
I'm John.
I'm Charlie.
Charlie, is that what you...
I'll be Charlie tonight.
Tonight? Okay. So Charlie is one of our newest member of the Volunteer Corps team. Just joined us a few weeks ago. We are so happy to have him here as part of the interview process. He had to run us through his favorite game at the end within a limited 2-hour slot. He did a great job running us through Star Wars. It's the
Fantasy Flight Games
version.
and Edge of the Empire.
Yeah, and the adventure was...
It was the Kessel Run. Can you beat Han Solo's record and make it in less than 12 parsecs?
And we did. It was 11.8 or something like that?
It was, 11.4.
11.4.
We made it
Wow.
11.4.
Wow. Yes.
It was all due to a superior droid.
And a lot of lucky rolls.
A lot of lucky rolls and an excellent pilot that night.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. My rolls were, as usual, not very helpful.
I was very inspiring.
Yes,
So that was
sure.
about it.
You offered a lot of assistance.
Yeah.
Indeed. A lot of buffing up.
I was like, here,
So,
guys, be inspired.
So that's one of the first things I really wanted to bring up was that Charlie joined us, and we're very glad to have him here.
I'm very excited to be here and be a part of this.
That's awesome. So he's learning, he's soaking it all up. This typically, I'm estimating it takes about a year to kind of get a handle on all this different stuff, to really feel, get immersed and ready. Because we go out to the public all the time. We work with special needs populations all the time. We work in front of cameras, the press, what have you. And so it takes a little while to ramp up and be ready for that. John was the first one to join me in this at the beginning of the year, end of last year. Danielle shortly, a few months later, also Jacob and Ryan. They're not here tonight. Ryan's no longer with us as a main volunteer, but he really helped wonderfully with his contributions. We really appreciate it. Jacob's been swamped with work. It's seasonal work, so hopefully he'll be joining us by next month. If not, then the month after that. And then Drake is off, I think, with his girlfriend or something, but he joins us periodically as well. So, yeah, the RPG bus, we've been talking about since February because Jacob's father passed away and left this. Yeah, that was rough. That was a long, painful process. But his father left behind this 1984 bus. His father was a total hippie, literally barefoot with a flute on his back and a wooden bowl that he ate everything out of and traveled the countryside hitchhiking, or later with this bus, living out of it, whatever. It's a big bus. It's not a hippie VW bus. It is a full, originally 48-seat activity bus. 1984 Thomas built GMC 11,000-pound vehicle
With wheelchair lift.
with the key thing is a working wheelchair lift, and the seats are ripped out, so there's all this room for a great gaming space, a nice, safe, comfortable, enjoyable, wheelchair accessible gaming. So that's just the screensaver. Don't worry about that. I know it's going to probably see many comments. I know, but I'm not too worried right this minute. But anyway,
You can text us at an undisclosed number.
yeah. So, but it was full of his dad's life of stuff, to the ceiling and to the front of the bus, just packed
Yeah.
full. So it took a
An
while.
archaeological dig.
It was. Took a while. Took many people to dig it all out. We eventually took 2 loads. The first load was with my trailer. We took about 1,060 pounds to the trailer, and then what was left, we drove the bus to the dump. So it made it all the way to the dump, clear up near Elk Chatteroy Road. It's a good 20 miles or so. It was kind of gutless. It needs a tune-up, but it got there. Initially it was smoking. All the smoke went away. It's just been sitting all winter, and it just needed the rings to reseat and everything. Ran great on the way back, other than gutless, but again, that's a tune-up. We unloaded 1,240 more pounds of garbage.
Wow.
And it doesn't
Yeah.
include the stuff they saved.
Yeah, then there's all the other stuff they kept. But anyway, so now it's here at the house. You'll notice in the screen, I'm not sure if it's this way or this way, you'll see a little photo of the bus. You've got Drake on the lift. You can actually see a video on our channel of the lift going down, and it deploys and all of that. And then a little bit next to that, you can see the back of the bus next to the RPG trailer here in my driveway and such. The bus is a fixer-upper. It runs, the lift works great, it's filthy, it stinks,
It is dirty.
but it's mechanically in pretty good shape. As I crawled under it, I was like, wait, this is a lot better shape than it looked. And so the goal was, we do this, we won't really be using it till summertime probably. We'll work on it through the winter, clean it up, gut it, all that. It may be up and running sooner than that, but that's our timeline, and then we'll see how it goes from there. I expect in a year or two we'll have to rebuild the engine and all that, but I'm hoping we can get it where it can pull the trailer. If not, we'll pull the trailer with the Infinity and have it drive. But what this means is we have 2 mobile gaming facilities, both of which are wheelchair accessible now. Woohoo!
We're officially a fleet.
A fleet. We have a fleet.
Yes.
Send out the RPG fleet. It's a game. It's not a trap. So, actually, you did a really good one. Can you do it?
It's a game, not a trap.
Yes, yes, beautifully done. Yes.
Thank you.
So, you got the good. Blah, 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 the
It's got to
Nixon-
come with it.
The Nixon. Blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
So yeah, so we're very excited about that. So basically, Jacob, I'm giving a few $100 a month, paying him bit by bit to just get that taken care of. Got it for $2,000 is what it'll be total. So 10 payments of $200. If I could pay it down sooner, great. And it's a Chevy 350, so fixing it is so much cheaper than my Infinity.
Yes.
So much cheaper. And I used to be a 4 times ASE certified mechanic. I don't want to do all the work, but I have a son who's very excited to work on cars, and I can take it to mechanics I trust. And so that will be nice. It's mostly for short range, but who knows? We might use it longer range too. We'll just have to take it a step at a time. We're kind of planning that John will be driving that around the local 100-mile radius area. And then I'll do the longer haul.
We'll do
with
the
trailer.
bus tour.
Yeah, but who knows? We might take it across the whole countryside at some point, because we'll have, we can add seats for a limited number of passengers. We don't want to make it a bus. It's right. It's as a van.
Yes.
It's not to transport large numbers of people, but we can put in a few seats for us as a crew to tour the countryside, and be on the road and do a tour of the whole North America someday. So that would
It'd be
fun.
really
That'd
great
be
if
awesome.
we can actually pull the trailer and we take both of them on that tour. We have
That is the
everything we
plan.
need. Yeah.
Whether or not we can do it by this summer or 2 years from now is the question. When I have gone through and done a compression test and cleaned the plugs, replaced the plugs, done all the tune-up, then we'll know if it's actually capable of pulling the trailer. Supposedly, it did pull a trailer as big as this with all that crap in there.
Wow.
It's just been sitting for 2 years, and so it may just need to rebuild. It just may need a cleanup. So I'm hoping, because it does look pretty good. So we'll see.
Yes,
If
it
not,
does.
then
It
I'll
looks
have to
real
rebuild
good.
it and soup it up. Okay, so
So
we're very
we have a
excited.
lot of
Yeah,
stuff
let's
going
get
on.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's our time so far?
10 minutes.
Okay, good.
We also are going to be at Fan Nexus.
Woo! That's Fan NEX, so FANNEX.US, down at the downtown Spokane International Convention Center. Woohoo! But it's downtown Spokane, and we're going to be in the main vendor area. They are free of charge, and this is a for-profit convention.
Right.
Where Spokane was non-profit, this is a for-profit convention. They are not charging us for a 60-foot by 10-foot plus area to put the trailer and the ramp and everything and set up in their vendor
That's
area.
at least 2 vendors.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yes.
way more.
Maybe
Vendors like 5 foot by 10 foot, and we're getting 10 foot by 60 foot. That's a few grand potentially of slots. So, very awesome.
Very much
do we want to
appreciated.
use any
Yes,
names or not, or
thank
just
you.
say thank Fan Nexus in general?
We can talk,
David.
Dave Morrison.
Okay. So many
He's the
thanks to Dave
president.
Morrison for reaching out and asking us and offering to do that. We're very excited about that. So we will have the trailer set up there in the convention center this time, and we'll be there offering tours where you can actually come in the trailer and we show you. Now remember, this trailer is our prototype of the wheelchair-friendly RPG trailer. It's not actually the ideal trailer. Right now we can handle about 3 wheelchairs for tabletop games. If we extend the balcony for drum circles, we can handle 5 or 6. But the ideal trailer doesn't need the 22-foot added ramp that takes an hour to set up and an additional 22 feet of space. It only needs the 7-foot ramp because it's half the ride height, and it's custom built for wheelchairs, and it'll seat 6 to 8 wheelchairs in one comfortable space and more roomy. The side of the walls will slide out 2 feet each way, so a little less claustrophobic. It'll be completely ADA friendly. That's our ideal trailer, and that's the GoFundMe.com/RPG trailer that we're trying to raise the down payment money for. But this is at least showing that we're serious about it. I bought it out of my own
Yes.
pocket. It's a $40,000 trailer. The ideal ones are getting closer to $50,000 now as parts supplies are getting more expensive.
Right.
But it's showing a level of commitment. Now we got the bus as well. I'm not kidding around about doing this. If you need any proof, I hope this is giving proof.
We're
But
real people, not silicone.
yeah, but we want to get to the next stage and get that other trailer. We won't get rid of this trailer. It'll just add to the fleet.
The fleet.
The fleet. So
The RPGers are coming.
what do you guys want to say any more about Fan Nexus? John, you know the most about it. You're running a bunch of stuff there.
Well, I'm running with Spokane Area Gaming Alliance, Saga on Facebook. We're running Adventures League, Dungeons and Dragons games. We're having the D&D Epic for this season, and so that's one of those games that can only be played at a convention, and it's going to be 4 tables simultaneously running the module. That's the biggest thing. We have a bunch of premier modules that have never been run before. And we're always looking for new DMs, so by the time you see this, the Fan Nexus will be over. No. Come on out and join us. But of course, we will be doing games in the trailer as well. We'll be playing more of Lord of the Rings, or in this case,
Eves of Mirkwood.
Eves and Mirkwood. But we're also doing the Star Wars.
The Star Wars Fantasy Flights game. I will be running the Kessel Run at the convention.
And Hawk will be running Angle at the Angle.
Which is it'll be the One Ring role playing game, also by Cubicle 7. It's about 7 years older than Adventures in Middle Earth, but it's by the same company. And Angle in the Angle is one of my own adventures that I've run a number of people through. But it's set around the same time period in Wilderland, around third age, 350, 48 or something like that. And it's a fun little adventure. We were just wrapped it up, running it through AIM last night.
Yep.
And it was that close to a TPK.
It was so close.
So
Oh!
and you had what, 1 hit point left?
I have 1 hit
One
point.
hit point left. Everybody else is down and out, either unconscious or immobilized. everybody else was.
Yes.
And there was one guy still sniping with a bow, and this wolf that was originally their wolf, but through animal handling 3 successful times in a row, turned the wolf against them.
And a
'Cause they were
natural 20.
abusers too. Yeah, natural 20.
Yes.
Because they really...
Yeah.
So we will be doing a live broadcast, because we have our normal public RPG research meeting. Thank you for that, Danielle.
Yeah.
On the first Saturday.
First Saturday of every month, I do believe.
Yeah.
Right?
So
I didn't know for sure. So
yeah, I think it's like 11
that's why I
a.m. or
was
so.
passing
I'll
the
have to
note.
check our. It'll be on our calendar. You go to www.rpgresearch.com/calendar/schedule. I forget. We'll put some links up, and that'll show all the different things we're doing every week. So we will be doing a broadcast like this, except at the trailer at the convention center, live
from the
from
convention.
Fan Nexus. It's downtown Spokane Convention Center.
You can watch me run No Thank You Evil for
Yes, so
hopefully
John's-
children, but it'll probably be adults again.
The adults love it. The adults really do. So yeah, No Thank You Evil. We've been running that for quite some time. John's kind of our main guy for that. It's been great. So there is a schedule on Fan Nexus and on our RPGresearch.com website in the blog section showing we're going to be rotating through different games. Danielle will be running Adventures in Middle Earth,
I think
Eves
it
of
was
Mirkwood.
Yep.
Charlie will be running Star Come the Kessel Run. So see if you can beat our time.
See if you can beat the record of
11.4.
11.4.
Yeah, come on. We dare you. You have learned much, but you are not a Jedi yet. John will be running No Thank You Evil and Adventures of Middle Earth, Eves of Mirkwood.
Right.
And I'll be running the One Ring role-playing game, Angle Up the Angle. So you'll get a different selection of games than will be over at the other gaming. Did you already tell them about the gaming that you're also part of for the main
Yeah,
convention?
Spokane Area Gaming Alliance is going to be running Dungeons & Dragons Adventures League there. Plenty of new material that you have not seen before. Even if you've been playing around this area, there's convention-only games. It's going to be good.
So check it out.
The next thing is we were at Spark Central the last 2 months.
Right,
Yes.
right. So the third Friday of each month, we're at a new community center, nonprofit, 501c3 downtown, in the Kendall Yards revitalized area. It's a completely new gentrified area. The Spark Central. And they have a charter of bringing education and other things to the West Central area and helping raise up that neighborhood, especially kids, but also adults as well. And they have a number of set programs and then drop in and ... So they have drop in and write. You come in and they give you a tagline and you start writing with that prompt. Or just write whatever occurs to you. They have drop in and code. You show up and they've got a quick little thing on how to learn some basic video game programming, make your own little video games, or other programming languages. They have a number of these drop-in programs, and so one of them is our drop-in and RPG, an introduction to role-playing games. Now, last month, we did not overcome the allure of the video games for the kids, and so we were there and set up, and you can see the photos of the setup. But this month, we were able to overcome that and get some kids to join. And the Spark Central volunteers, 2 of them said they were in tears watching because the kids that were there were totally engaged. They were dynamic. They had a great time, outspoken in a positive way.
Yes.
And they said these kids are totally like withdrawn, attitude, don't want to engage with people. And they were just like, it was night and day difference. And we keep seeing this all the time with gaming. We really do. And they had a wonderful time. And they're like, every week, we want to do this every week. And we're
Yes.
like, it's once a month right now. But we did, after a meeting with them, we've expanded it from 2 hours to 3 hours. That'll give us a little bit more time to get into the flow and immersion and role play of that. Speaking of flow, we've probably talked about before, there's a video clip you can watch where I go into detail. But that is a key tenet of therapeutic recreation, is to get people into a flow state where they forget their worries and they focus on whatever they're doing, the activity, and then that's a maximized beneficial learning mode to be in. And it's a great, you have loss of time, you have just enough tension to just be so focused that you're not worried, you don't have the bandwidth to worry about other things, and you're not bored, and you're just fully engaged and fully immersed. In the sports world, they call it being in the zone. And you can see a video on our channel, youtube.com/RPG Research, on Flow State, a little 5-10 minute video about that with examples.
The title is Flow and Role Playing Games.
Yes, so definitely check that out. But we use sports analogies to help
20
people
minutes.
understand that. Okay. So again, we'll be broadcasting live that Saturday. That'll be our second of 3 days that we'll be there. If you can come down to Spokane and attend, please do. You can see it in person.
Yes.
Yep.
If you can't, you'll be able to see us doing our thing there. And we'll be offering games. We'll be offering tours, and we'll be set up like a vendor where we have a presentation and Q&A, and we can answer any questions you have.
Maybe a little drumming.
Oh yeah, and we might be doing some drumming. We'll talk more about that in a little bit.
The next thing is that we just finished filing for a nonprofit
Literally, like an hour ago, clicked
Yes.
submit to Washington State Incorporation. So we're incorporating as a nonprofit. Up to this point, it has been just a loose association of volunteers. I have 3 businesses already of my own, for-profit LLCs and DBA and such, in technology and also role-playing game and therapy and all that. But this has been, I've been doing this first in '85 with the gifted and talented children in educational settings, and then since 2004 for therapeutic, educational, entertainment, all of that. And though there was a core website, and there were many of us doing this, there was no business entity. We are creating this nonprofit as a business entity, so it actually exists. So I went ahead and sent that in. We're not ready to do a 501c3. That's a lot more expensive, a lot more difficult. So right now, that means donations are not a tax deductible for you. Fortunately, all the donations so far, people have not wanted that. They've been happy to donate between the trailer and the Patreon. They've been happy to donate. We are so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
But this is a step towards, we're doing everything so that we will be able to go to become a 501c3 later as needed, if it all works out. But right now, the first step is just the state incorporation. So we sent that in to them tonight, and we'll go back and forth on the paperwork. We've got 6 board members so far. We might have a 7th if Professor Messina joins. So that's all coming along nicely. And we're just trying to incorporate it as RPG Space Research. We'll see if that gets accepted.
The next thing is that Indie Air Radio is going to have us doing a drum circle facilitation workshop on November 4th.
So Indie Air Radio, INDIE, Air, AIR, Radio, RADIO, all one word, munched together, no spaces, no hyphens. Indie Air Radio, so independent. I have been as Synthetic Zen, that's my alter ego as a musician. I've been doing music forever. I have almost 20 albums. I'm a nobody as far as music goes, but I'm prolific if nothing else. I have over 200 original pieces out there. So I was years ago a DJ for KYRS, talk show host, NR Radio, multiple things. And so he knew me through KYRS. He's been building this independent online radio station through the community and throughout the United States. He's got artists from New York and California and everything in between. I think he's around 20, 30 independent artists so far, unsigned artists. And he has a small concert hall, seats about 45 audience members, and they're good musicians. They're some really good ones. My music is a little different than the others. They're mostly rock, folk, blues, a little jazz. Mine is world and synths, and I do from trip hop to opera. I do everything. But he's starting to do some new workshops and such. So we were talking, and so he suggested that we, through back and forth, we've decided we're going to do a workshop teaching people the basics of drumming and an introduction to facilitating a drum circle. Just very minimal. It's just a 2-hour workshop. It's just gives you that baseline experience. We'll teach you some very basic hand shapes. Through the MDA, as we built up to the MDA thing, I kept buying more and more and more percussion instruments to try to handle all the people we would have. Thank goodness I did that, because we had a lot of people.
Yes.
So we have enough to potentially handle up to 50 people if we wanted.
And you could be one of them.
This workshop's limited to 35 because of the space there. And the tickets are basically make a donation to get a ticket. So you click it. So this is on RPGresearch.com and it's on indieairradio.com/events. And right now there's a nuts and bolts audio engineering workshop that they're doing in a week or two. And then after that, the next one is November with us. And all the proceeds go straight to the RPG trailer, the Ideal RPG trailer fundraiser through GoFundMe. It'll all go into that bank account. And then sometime next year, also the music, my albums, all the music from Indie Air Radio, if you subscribe and pick me to subscribe to, that goes to the trailer. So there's a few people who are donating each month to Indie Air Radio, or not donating, their memberships. And that goes straight into slowly paying for the Ideal trailer. And I may be doing a concert sometime early next year at the concert hall, live performance stuff, and it'll be the same thing. All the money goes towards the trailer. So check them out, Indie Air Radio. It's like $10 a month, have a membership, get access to some great music, and it's another wonderful partnership with the neighborhood. And the trailer will be there. He wants the trailer to be there in addition to the concert hall to show it to people. So we're excited about that. And so Charlie had not done drumming and drumming facilitation
not
before,
yet.
so he got his first introduction today to that. We'll be doing that every week as we build up to it. And you know, I've been doing drum circle facilitation for a number of years. I got introduced to it through, well, I know I got somewhere in the 80s I got introduced to the first time, I think through the SCA.
That makes sense. They have a lot of drum circles at the
Yes,
SCA.
because I was a minstrel. That was my character, was a minstrel. And I helped with the cooks and the feasts. But
No typecasting, I'm sorry.
But as I got into therapeutic recreation, at one of the WASTRAs, Washington State Therapeutic Recreation Association conventions, somebody came in and did a whole drum facilitation thing. I'm like, oh yeah, that. I learned how to do this whole thing and wasn't even using it in TR. And so like, oh yeah. So then started reincorporating that back into the TR realm. And so we're excited to share that with others.
Yeah.
So come join us. We hope you can make it to that. That won't be broadcast, but it will be a fun event. Make it.
You want to talk about the last bullet point, John?
Well, we're talking about having a possible role-playing game trailer special event. It'll be a fundraising event, of course. We're like kind of a mini-con, but maybe just only 1 or 2 tables. I'm looking at a possible 24-hour live stream of us running Adventures in Middle-earth. We'll get as much of a campaign as we can do in a 24-hour block.
We will use my higher quality studio audio and video equipment, by the way, for the audio to be better. It'll be mic'd.
So we'll have a
And
really,
2 cameras, overhead and wide angle, like we did back with Extra Life.
exactly, and we'll try to make this is a good representation of the game. We'll introduce some of our own methods of how we handle things, maybe a couple of insights how things can possibly be used for therapeutic means, but it'll be mainly just to run the game for the whole time. And we will be taking donations, and you can become involved. Say you want something to happen in the game, you make a donation, things can get added in, or special events happen there. We'll get more details as we develop them.
Some others we didn't get on the bullet list that I want to mention. We've talked about it, but I didn't have it handy. At least I don't think we have. I think maybe in our podcast we did.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so are you finished with
Yep,
that topic?
I-
Okay,
More information to come as we develop it.
yeah. So we don't know when, we don't know where. It's an idea. By next week we'll have a better idea of what we're doing with that exactly.
So by next month, you guys will be
And
in.
you guys will have the inside scoop.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we'll see if we can figure out some way to reward you guys with some special ability. Maybe they can interact in the adventure some way. I don't know. Did you guys ever see that on the Spartan show when I was GMing on the Twitch channel? The audience could directly impact the story real time. Very cool.
We did something like
Extra
that. with the-
experience points to Patreon supporters.
Yeah, yeah.
We did a little something like that with the Star Wars game. We called it
Mhm.
the Tides of Change.
Right.
And we would play for a couple of hours, and then each character would get a chance to do a monologue on where they would like the story to head,
Okay.
and the viewers would then vote while
Okay.
there was an intermission, and they would come back and pick up from the winner's idea and run the second half of the
Cool.
campaign.
Cool. So the way we did it is we had a bot running in the Twitch chat room that the longer you stayed logged in, the more XP you got. And you could donate to get more XP. And then I had a little shopping list that you could pick from that you could spend those XP at that level. So 50 XP, 500, 1,000, whatever. And of course, the more you spent, the more significant the impact. And so in the chat room, they would spend it, I'd get notified. I had to do that in real time without dropping the game or anything. We just, while it was going on, I'd get a little, he'd slide me a note or I'd see it in the chat room. Incorporate it. So one of them was a black cat crosses their path. Well, in the worlds of Beirut, you guys are, you haven't been in Beirut. You remember way back when, the
Nope.
beginning. Oh, you weren't there at the beginning.
Nope.
They went around slaying all the black cats,
Oh.
right? So totally medieval Europe because they thought they were demonic, etc. And what do you know? There was a plague spreading throughout. But it turns out the black cats actually were possessed and minions of the drow and things like that. So it actually wasn't that inappropriate. So they had so somebody spent the XP to have a cat walk by. Later it was some beggar was walking by asking for help. We named the character after the chat room guy's name, Steberson. So now it was Steberson and how he interacted, and that became part of the story. Then later he spent even more and had a thief try to rob them during the night, got caught. That's part of the story. And this is the son of Steberson, Steberson's son. I forget what name we gave him.
Stubborn.
But real time, different episodes. We did like 7 episodes. I think they're on the RPG Research channel. If they're not, they'd be on SpokaneRPG.com. But I think they're on the channel. Okay, good. The other topic is, I'm still doing a lot of classes. And right now I'm in a cognitive neuroscience memory and cognition course. Because my degree is recreation therapy, music therapy, neuroscience, and research psychology. And I'm wrapping up the neuroscience part of it here. And related to that, she was bringing up talking about different ways of monitoring brain interaction, etc. And you have EEGs, which monitor real time but don't really tell you about structure. You have PET and functional MRI, positron emission tomography for PET, which can kind of give you a general area and has a second or two delay. It reads the blood flow and oxygenation of the brain, and so you kind of get some structural idea of what happens where and when, but it's a second or two delay, and when you're talking milliseconds, that's pretty slow. Functional MRI is a little faster, more within the hundreds of milliseconds range to a second, and more detail. And it tells you when you're doing an activity what parts of the brain are lighting up. Now it's tricky, and there's a lot of debate in the whole neuroscience world about how, unfortunately, a lot of the MRI stuff's miscalibrated. There's issues. It's not as exact a science as they would like it to be, but it's getting better and better and better. But anyway, one of them is electroencephalogram, EEG. They've got a more generic term now for kind of real-time monitoring. I forget what the term is right now. And so a number of years ago, I bought this. This is an open-source EEG system, electroencephalogram. So you hook up, you get the dielectric grease, and hook up a headband or your little head sock, and you hook these all up, different parts, and you can set it to different frequencies to monitor real time. So I have played around with trying to monitor for flow state, trying to monitor for focus, trying to monitor for tension in a role-playing game setting. I'm playing around with that a little bit over the years. I'm still trying to find out what the rules are for doing it for other people. I can do whatever I want to myself, and this is passive and receive only. It's not inductive. There is one inductive optional channel, but I don't use that. So it's monitoring your brain to see what happens. Most research, you want to go through an institutional review board because of any potential risk. This has no risk to it. It doesn't do anything but monitor. So I know I could get an IRB waiver, but it's expensive. If I don't do it through university, it's $2,600 minimum just to apply. But I really want to start getting more of these. So I've just been getting familiar with all the software and the hardware and the technique. I'm getting familiar with the technology. I've been part of neurofeedback and such many years ago. A lot of great science to support the impact of neurofeedback. But this is a great way to get some more useful causal information about role-playing games real time. And it's going to be weird because you'll have wires hooked up and it's a distraction. But if we do our jobs as GMs and we get people immersed and they're focused on the game and they're envisioning the game, they stop seeing and feeling the wires. Everybody's wearing these head socks with wires running off. If we do our job and get them immersed, we should start to get some interesting data. So this is on the horizon someday. It's a money thing, it's a time thing, but this is slowly. I am developing the skill set for that. So in the class, we're on cognition and memory and going through all that. I've been through some of this before. It's a more advanced class. But something that came up, I was interviewed again last week for somebody for his degree, and then the week before that did we already mention that? The Men's Health magazine?
No, we did not.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! This is big. I wonder what's going to come out though. Men's Health magazine, like the one you see at all the grocery stores around the country, if not the world. I don't know what they're part of Prevention magazine. It's the same publisher. One of the and I don't know if it's going to be web only or on the stands. I think it's going to be web only. But they interviewed. So what happened was they interviewed Wheelhouse Workshop, the Adams there. And then he went to his editor, and the topic is role-playing games and friendships, creating friendships, building friendships, maintaining friendships, lifelong, long-term comradeships, friendships. And Wheelhouse Workshop gave a lot of great anecdotes. Then he went to his editor with the paper, or something, if I understand this correctly, and the editor said, "Well, where's your citations? Where's your proof? Where's your science? Where's your research?" So he went back to them, and Wheelhouse is like, "Well, we only have anecdotes because we do baseline assessments, exits, things like that, program plans. They do a more standard therapeutic approach. You just kind of go in and do it and draw upon their professional background, but they aren't real paperwork heavy, and we do more of that than I think anybody else that I know of." So they referred him to look to RPG Research. He was a little overwhelmed by all the research there, so he contacted me. We went through an interview, and so hopefully there'll be at least some honorable mentions and citations in Men's Health magazine. But it's going to be an article about role-playing gaming and friendships and comradeships, and so I was able to give both anecdotes and I gave him links to Tuckman's social group formation. Forming, storming, norming, performing, which is a key part of TR. And a key part of role-playing gaming, because this is a group dynamic thing. He'd never heard of that before. That gives him some good science, back information there, citations. I gave him info for Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. So I was able to give him some really great things, in addition to our own research that's gone out there, and our own specific programs, and the results we've seen, and the measurable results we've seen. And then he also asked, so what's your favorite character to play, or what are you playing currently? So a little personal side too, so we got that as well. So I'm looking forward to that article. We'll see how that comes up. But yeah, Men's Health magazine.
We'll definitely be talking about it when it comes out.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so we don't forget again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got this on the horizon. We got that cognitive neuroscience. So it's very interdisciplinary. So that we're letting you know the research side here. It's all evolving bit by bit. Anything else we want to cover before we wrap up here?
I think we really covered it.
Yeah, I think we covered
I know there's a lot more, but
Yeah.
we got Spark Central, we got that, we got
The Drum Workshop.
we got Fan Nexus, Spokon's next year. We got our own thing that's going on at some point. Yeah, I think we're good. So we look forward to your questions. Please post them either on Patreon or post them on the YouTube channel.
We should look and see if there's any.
See if anybody has posted anything. I don't think anybody's watching, but you never
Who knows?
know.
You never know.
Of course, there was a time we thought with Extra Life.
Oh, God.
Tell them about that.
We're doing a 24-hour thing for Extra Life. We got to a natural stopping place in the game, and we're trying to decide whether or not to continue on in the last couple hours of the night. And we looked and saw, according to YouTube, that we had nobody watching us. Well, that was a false number. We closed the thing and basically shut the door on 700 people.
Over 700.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
was
it was
at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, live feed, 4:30
Pacific
in the
time.
morning. That was a tremendously large numbers. We really should not have closed that door.
Oops. Yeah. And we raised a little money because we got those little tip jar things to do re-rolls and such. I really hope we can. Can you find out more info on that about us getting some of those for our stuff?
Yeah, I will. Let's put that on my to-do list here.
If we could get that in time for Fan Nexus, that'd be even better. But I don't stress about it if you can't, because we got a lot going on. Yeah, nobody's commenting. Nobody's watching right now.
That's what you say.
Yeah, that's what YouTube says. It could be lying to us again. Who
If
knows?
you're there, comment.
What?
I said if you're there, comment.
Yes, please
Ask any
comment.
questions you have.
And you can comment after, and we'll come back next time and answer. Or if it's more urgent, we can get you. Now, if you're not donating yet on Patreon, if you're watching this video later, then please go to
patreon.com /RPG research.
Yep, and that's to donate for monthly. $1 helps. If everybody donates $1,
Yes.
we will do great. If you do $5, you get a little earlier access. If you get 15, even earlier, 25, and then you get extra special features. So take a look at that, and you'll see our goals too, as far as the trailer, our research projects. The RPG research, the Patreon thing helps fund the research we have in the queue. We've got over 200 research questions in the queue that we've been trying to answer. Some of them we already started to answer. It's all been self-funded, but now we're reaching out to the public to see if we can speed up that process. And I've already got one research project through Washington State University's IRB Institutional Review Board that's getting near completion. I've been working on that a few years. So there's a lot of overlap, and these things take time. These things, I'm serious about really doing real research here, whether it's questionnaires, controlled studies, whatever it is. But they all have expenses, and I'll keep doing it out of my pocket as best I can. But you can make a direct, immediate difference the more people that donate. So again, that's patreon.com/RPG research, and that helps with the research, and that helps with us then go out and do programs based on the research to help special needs populations. We do that for free: muscular dystrophy, cerebral palsy, traumatic brain injury, etc. At-risk youth. Then, from our observations from those programs, because nobody else has created these formal program plans with measurable assessments, etc., and we use APIDE, assessment, planning, implementation. It's late. Evaluation and documentation,
Yes.
and then /R re-evaluation, etc. And feed that back into the research pool,
Yes.
so it has a nice feedback loop. So you can help make that happen even more. And if you have specific research questions out of the 200 or so we have listed, or you have new ones that you don't see listed, let us know. If you donate and say, I'm donating because I would like you to find out about this aspect of gaming effect, or I want you to try to do more with this population, we're all ears. You
Yes.
start donating $25, $100 a month and say, we would like you to work with this population, we'll do what we can.
Yes.
We're totally open-ended on that. If you just want to help with the trailer specifically, then go to gofundme.com/RPG trailer. And then you just donate. That's a one-shot thing. We're trying to get 6,500. If we don't get there pretty soon, the prices. So I started 4 years ago. This GoFundMe 3-4 years ago, or at least the idea. I'm not sure I started the GoFundMe, but and we got a little over $1,000, and that is wonderful. But that $6,500 for the down payment for what was then a $40,000, it was like $38,000 trailer, and the transportation costs and the Washington State approval process for a custom-built vehicle to be on the highways here, $6,500 covered it. But that was 4 years ago. The prices for all of these are going up and up and up. Now that same trailer that was $38,000 is now well into the $40,000 range and getting closer to the $50,000 range. And it's a minimum 10% deposit for them to start building it. And then there's the $700 or so transportation costs, the $1,200 or so Washington State bureaucracy costs. And so now that $6,500 is getting leaner. And I'm afraid if we don't ramp this up and that's why we're trying to get all these fundraisers to get it up there. If we don't get that $6,500 soon, and it's going to take them 6 months or so to build it. If we don't get them that $6,500 soon, it's going to change the goal line. We're going to have to move it to like $7,500, $8,500 to still just be able to afford to do it. And again, that's just the down payment. I'll just pay the monthly out of my pocket, as I've been doing with the other trailer and with the bus. I can do that much. It's just the big chunk of change up front is more than I can handle. And so, if you believe in what we're doing, please show us and do what you can. Those of you who are already donating, thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
We are so grateful, and we're so glad that you can see what we're trying to do here and that you appreciate it. So again, post any questions, RPG Researcher, rpgresearcher@gmail.com, rpgresearch.com website, rpgtrailer.com website, rpgbus.com website. Oh, and we have the rpgnetwork.net in the works. No, it's not that secret. So that will be a whole other thing coming soon. Those of you in Patreon, you know some of that. We've shared some of the links and such. Those of you who are not doing it through Patreon, You'll have to wait. Although if you go to the website, you'll find out. So it's a prototype right now. It doesn't actually do, but you'll see what we're trying to do. Some interesting things with that. So I think that wraps it up. So any last minute comments, anybody?
It's been up for 27 months. Look that up.
What's
the
GoFundMe, 27
GoFundMe.
months. Okay. And we're at what, 1,080, 1,050?
1,060.
1,060. Okay, cool. So we really need to get those numbers up so we can
Every
get that
dime
going.
helps.
Yes, yes, it does. Next time, be prepared to share some personal anecdotes of why you got into role-playing gaming, how role-playing gaming has changed your life. Be careful about not being too personal, but as personal as you're comfortable with. And why are you doing this with RPG Research? I mean, you're not getting paid for this. We're all doing this as volunteers. We put in a lot of time, blood, sweat, tears, money,
I'm not getting
etc.
paid. I'm not getting paid.
So why are you doing this? Let's talk about that next time. And if you have specific questions you'd like to ask us about that, we'd really appreciate it. I think that wraps
Comment
it up.
below.
Yes.
Yes.
Comment below. Yes, yes. So thank you so much, wherever you may be. Be well, Namarie, and happy gaming.
Happy gaming.
Good night and dream well.
Turn this off. We need to get an AV guy sometime to do this.
You're raising